Welcome back to It Was a Square with Sean.
And Brooke.
It's a podcast about where sometimes I show Brooke and sometimes Brooke shows me things
That we like and we want the other person to experience.
Alright, so this week was my turn and I got to show Brooke the 1984 classic, The Terminator. I thought about doing this one for a while. It's like a good movie. I enjoy it a lot. I wouldn't say it's my favorite by any means. Well, two things really cemented my decision to show this. The first one being that we saw The Notebook last week. And the second being that it was free on YouTube.
How does seeing The Notebook last week make you want to watch The Terminator?
Great question. Because The Notebook is lauded as like a great romantic movie. One of the best. And I would argue that Terminator has a better love story.
I would also argue that.
Oh, good. Then we're on the same page.
No, I'm sorry. I would argue with that The Terminator is a greater love story.
So, opens 2029. Last year, 2019, would have been like... Oh, sorry, that was 2 years ago. Whoa.
2021.
Yeah, so 2019 would have been like 10 years from now? No way. But after 2020... insert 2020 joke. All right.
Yeah. I saw the opening and I was like, this feels too real.
Yeah.
This actually
Come on,
seems
James Cameron.
possible.
Weren't you going to know that people were going to watch it in 2021? Come on. Have some respect. But no, yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll get into it, but just real quick cursory thoughts. What did you think?
It was good.
Cool. Moving on. I like... that in the 2029, I like in the opening, that the robots don't look human. I know you haven't seen that, but Terminator Salvation, which is set at that time, it's kind of feels like a Star Wars movie, the humans are going up against an army of droids or Terminators. There's a whole bunch of humans, but in this movie, humans aren't the perfect fighting physique or template. Terminators are designed to infiltrate and kill, not really to be the best killing machines possible. I like that they're just tanks and big flying spaceship things, and you don't really ever see any robots until later on.
Going into it, I know it was made in the 80s, and then in the first 30 seconds you're like, yes, this is an 80s movie, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course not.
Yeah, but it's just, it is very 80s.
Yeah, you watch Jurassic Park these days, and those don't look like real dinosaurs. They don't look anything close to it. But it's still amazing. It's still great and it's still fun. So even though it's not cutting edge as by today's standard, it's still it's fun and I like it.
Yeah, you can appreciate the
special effects.
Yeah.
But we jump to, lightning and a garbage truck and a naked Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. My first notes are Arnie is young and then butts.
Yes.
Because there is a scene, the opening scene is just, I close my eyes, but,
he walks up to this skyline or the city view of LA and it's just butt hanging free.
Yeah. Again, close my eyes, but I just thought it was funny that both movies so far have had.
Let's keep it going. Let's make a streak.
No, I'd like to keep my eyes open for an entire movie.
A butt streak is not what you want to see.
Obviously, The Terminator is referenced a lot in our culture, and for whatever reason, I thought that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the good guy, going up against these robots that were the Terminators.
Yeah.
Robots have a mind of their own and they take over the world, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it. And that is my knowledge of the Terminator prior to seeing the Terminator. And so it took me a while to come to terms that I had that wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like when I read Frankenstein last year.
Yeah.
Frankenstein is not the monster. Frankenstein is the doctor. Anyway, just one of those things that I completely misunderstood but thought I knew about the Terminator.
Yeah. I like the way that it's kind of filmed in the beginning, because it's kind of like a weird pseudo I guess, horror movie. Like, you don't know what's going on, and it's like a mystery. You just know these two people kind of appeared out of lightning naked, not knowing what was going on. They're both trying to find this woman. Like, one of the first things you see Arnold do is go up to a phone book, open to Connor, find Connor, Sarah. There's 3 in a row. The 80s. Things are so baggy.
But I will say,
shoulders as wide as a house.
The first like 10 minutes thinking that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the good guy is really confusing as he just kills all of these people.
Yeah. Pulls up in a car and runs over this children's toy. Absolutely terrible. Like, knocks on the door. A woman answers. He says questioningly, like, Sarah Connor? She says yes, and he just, like, he has a deadbolt, and he just pushes the door open, like, effortlessly, and then, pumps some shots into her. I remember 2 kids running out to see what happened, and then he shoots them as well. And then I also remember, because, like, in the version we saw on YouTube, I mean, maybe I fabricated it, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that.
Watch the extended version.
Yeah, I don't know, but we just watched, like, the free version on YouTube, which happened to be out, like, this week, which was great. And I remember, like, I think they cut some part. Like, I can't picture anything else that was cut, except he did shoot an old lady who was also Sarah Connor. And in the version we watched, it's just he shot the one lady, and then the other lady that he executed was shown on the news.
Yeah, just like another Sarah Connor was killed. Yeah.
So the titular Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, sees that on the news and learns of it from there. As does the audience, I guess, because we never saw the second murder. But I swear, like, maybe I'm crazy, but I swear I remember seeing it.
Yeah. I am okay with them cutting those out. For the record, I don't super love, like, violent movies. Actually, I don't like violent movies at all. Like, I think if the Terminator was made right now, like we were talking about how it's definitely an 80s movie, I think if they were to make it today, I don't think I'd be able to watch it.
I agree. I think it's...
Just because I'm such a wimp when it comes to, like, gore and violence, and...
I think movies have definitely gotten worse, for sure, as far as how bad they can be.
Yeah.
Like, in this movie, you don't even see most of the people get shot, Like, you see Arnold get shot all the time, but he's a Terminator, who cares?
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of the people just cuts to the gun being fired and not really the person being hit. Which I obviously also don't love watching violence, so I like that. But I think these days it would just be, people
a lot gorier,
like squibs flying.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton, I think, more so, you haven't seen the second one. Second one is really great. We'll talk more about it. But Linda Hamilton is kind of seen as, like, the 80s, like, female, like, bad A woman.
Which is shocking to me, because I literally wrote down, she is useless and is just waiting to get shot. Because
in the beginning,
and I get, like, now seeing that how it ends and whatever, but I get really annoyed when people are dumb in movies. Like, do something. Like, I don't remember the exact scene, but he's, like, coming at her.
In the 80s disco tech noir bar thing.
Yeah, and he's, like, coming at her with a gun, trying to shoot her, and she just sits there.
Yep.
Like, literally do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do anything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so she's, at the time, like, spooked because she sees 2 Sarah Connors are dead. She calls the police, and, like, they put her on hold a few times. She calls her... Yeah, she just goes for, like, a night out. Yeah,
she's all ready.
Yeah, and she sees, like, a weird man who ends up being Kyle Reese. He's the man that, the other guy that we don't talk about, who, like, came with the lightning with, in a different place than Arnold, but also in LA. He's got, like, some really fresh Nikes. He's got, like, a nice trench coat and, like, homeless man pants.
And no socks.
And no socks, no shirt. Just a sawed-off
shotgun.
A stockless shotgun, like, tied under his arm. And, yeah, what a great look.
Yeah.
And Linda Hamilton gets spooked because people are after her. She doesn't know who. She sees this strange man, like, eyeballing her. So she runs. She goes to a very public place called Tech Noir, which is an 80s disco weird bar club situation.
Yeah.
And she just waits there, calls the police, and waits for a long time. Meanwhile, Arnold goes to her apartment and has like a little wrestling match with the boyfriend of her roommate, who gets beaten. And both of those people are killed.
Yeah. So pretty much just everyone's dying.
Yeah, everyone's dying. The Terminator's like, ooh, job done. But then, Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, calls her own apartment to like have the roommate pick her up from Tech Noir. She says, "Hi, it's me, Sarah." And the Terminator hears that, finds where Tech Noir is, and
shows up.
Confronts her, yeah.
But luckily, Kyle Reese is also there.
Just a nice little shootout. A lot of people die. But the classic line, one of the classic lines, Kyle Reese shoots Terminator like through the glass. He falls down. He grabs Linda Hamilton and says, "Come with me if you want to live," which is great. And they have like a great car chase. In this car chase, I really like that Kyle Reese never turns on the lights, the headlights for the car. No matter what, they always fight the Terminators in the dark, in the future. They always fight the robots, because like it's hard for them to be seen. So this whole car chase is in at night, and he never turns the lights on, almost as if he's like afraid to turn them on. And I thought that was pretty good attention to detail.
The soundtrack is banging.
The soundtrack is banging. Very 80s.
So funny. So good.
Yeah, just like do 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 do, like just crazy keyboard noises.
Well, and I think I wrote that from right before her roommate Ginger is killed. She's like singing that song.
Oh yeah.
If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I just thought it was so funny.
80s Cold War fear, like driven. The 2029 is the future war is like kicked off with a nuclear holocaust, which at the time was more of a fear, I would say. People were really afraid of it, which brings me to monster theory, which is really cool. Monster theory goes, the way I've heard it, is that like a culture's perception of what's scary or what monsters they produce, say like a Terminator, is directly in line with what that culture really fears. So the way you can see it today is in like movies and stuff. You'll never see zombie movies and vampire movies popular at the same time. And the reason they switch off like that is whenever there is a conservative as president, zombie movies are really popular because people fear like mass consumerism and just being told what to do and mindlessly going and doing it. Just like how they think conservatives or Republicans are. When a liberal is our president, vampire movies are really common, because the way conservatives see liberals is that they're very anti-Christ, like they don't believe in religion and stuff. They're often foreign. They literally leech the life out of you and like replenish their own. So it's just interesting that you can see it in movies, and I think that is shown in this movie is the 80s Cold War fear.
I will say, those are like very stereotypical, like that wasn't a political statement.
Yeah.
From us. Like that is legitimately a thing, monster theory. That's not like our theory, so
yes.
Don't get offended. So they think that Kyle Reese is the bad guy that's like killing all these Sarah Connors.
After this really long chase scene, they're captured by the police.
Yeah, and they all think that Kyle is crazy because he sounds crazy.
Yeah. And they introduce the therapist character.
Oh yeah, did not like him.
So I really would have liked this movie if it was cut a little bit differently. Like, I think the way it is presented is great. If they showed it in a way like that this scene, you really didn't know if Kyle Reese was insane or not. Like, if they didn't show all of the past stuff or like the lightning traveling stuff, if they just kind of opened and it went like that, and you were so confused as to who Arnold was playing and why Kyle Reese was saying all these things. And in this scene, they basically do that to Sarah Connor. They explain, Kyle Reese is very crazy, the man that he shot and got back up, Arnold, is wearing body armor. Like, we have it right here. This is Kevlar. It'll stop whatever. I think it would have been really interesting if you, like, the audience, just like Sarah Connor, was being conflicted with this and would at that point have to decide, should I stick with Kyle Reese, or are what the police saying true?
If you know me, you know that I have like an eye thing where I just hate anything that has to do with eyes. So,
Anything
like,
bad.
Yeah. So like
I like looking at eyes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. In movies, if something is happening with somebody's eyes, I just can't. So Sean just said to close my eyes for a little bit.
Yeah, we skipped a scene.
Yeah, just I guess he like fixes his eye, and Sean knew I wouldn't like that, so I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It's a great piece of puppetry. Like, they made a puppet of Arnold's head and then, like, you know, had him work on it. But I don't want to see that either. And it shows like the glowing red eye of the Terminator chassis underneath. Very cool, but you know, I get it. Don't need to see it. I can explain it to Brooke. It's fine.
Yeah, I get it. His face got messed up, so he had to fix it.
We'll get to the romance, I promise.
Yeah,
I promise the great romance, and we'll get to it.
I think that's kind of the next.
Yeah. Right now, it turns out. It's obviously between Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor. And the reason Sarah Connor is being chased after, we should have explained this before, but the whole reason like all of this is happening to her is because in the future, humans are almost wiped out by these robots, and they start like these concentration camps to like make all the humans work for them.
Yeah, it was very Holocaust-y.
Yeah, I think James Cameron's like, what's the terrible thing that happened? The Holocaust. Let's just throw that in so people can relate to it more.
Yeah.
So everything's terrible. Humans are dying out very slowly. And then like this savior comes and he tells everybody how to defeat these robots, and he starts like an uprising and eventually trains them, like just is more than a man in a way. They eventually win. Like, these Terminators going back into the past are the robots, the Skynet's like last-ditch effort to win, to stop this savior. And this guy, his name is John Connor, being Sarah Connor's son. Sarah Connor, like Brooke said in the movie, kind of is just a regular woman. Like, doesn't have any...
She's worse than a regular woman.
She doesn't have any, like, combat training or anything. She's kind of a nobody.
She's a waitress.
Yeah, she's
from
a
LA.
waitress.
Not saying waitresses from LA are bad. I'm just saying, like, she's not the leader of an army.
Yeah. And Kyle Reese tells her that John told him. John learned everything from her, and he hasn't been born yet. So, like, all of his combat training and all the things he knows about these Terminators and how to stop them and how to run an army came from her. So it's good stuff. But we made the joke, like, John Connor is a very cool, like, I'll help save humanity kind of name. Like, it wouldn't be Toby. No offense to any Tobys out there. But
I don't know why I thought this was so funny, but he gets shot in the last scene, and so
when
she
they
like
escape from the prison or the cops precinct.
Yeah, so she fixes his like wound, like dresses it, and he's like, "Wow, this is the best wound dressing I've ever seen." And she was like, "Thanks, it was my first one." And I
was not how he's like, "That's a decent field dressing." She said, "Thanks, it's my first."
I don't know. That's like, how I just said it is how I pictured it. Okay. So I just think it's like, where did she get that skill? I don't know. I just thought it was really funny. Yeah. I've never done this before. I'm glad you thought it was so good. Like, yeah. Obviously, this is how she talks in my mind. Clearly. You can see how much I like her.
She's great. She asks Kyle Reese, like, what was the future like? And he explains how... He talks about how they use dogs to sniff out Terminators and how they all live underground. And people, like, live in these terrible conditions. And, like, they're eating rats. Like, that's all they've got.
Yeah, this woman's just sobbing in the background.
Yeah, like the whole time. This new squad arrives of soldiers and they try to like get inside. And the last one walks in and the dogs start going crazy. And then, oh no, it's a Terminator, and he pulls out like a big gun. But I was thinking, like, that man is huge. Obviously a bodybuilder, like very similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger. So if you're like living on rats and in squalor and all these other things, like just don't let the giant man inside. Like clearly that's the Terminator.
Also, this whole time, he like referred to, or Kyle Reese said that there was a picture of her
Given to him by John.
to be like, this is my mom, like go find her. And he said like, you just look so sad. And I was wondering,
What were you thinking in the moment that the picture was taken?
yeah. And so in that scene also, like, this picture burns up.
Yeah. And he says, like, not the exact line or anything, but he's like, in a world of darkness is the only thing of beauty I owned, or something like that.
Yeah.
So he, like memorized every shape and curve and line and all of, like, the picture of Sarah Connor's face.
1984 or
Yeah.
whatever. They decide to, like, go check into a motel.
Yeah,
and,
just
like,
a random, like, off-the-road motel.
yeah, so they can't be tracked or whatever. The romance really flourishes.
Yeah.
They're making bombs, and then...
Yeah. Plastique bombs.
As you do. And then the conversation gets switched to, like, oh, you've never had anybody to love. And he's like, I love you, Sarah Connor. And she's like, oh. And then...
Again. That's not quite how it went, but yes.
And then we fast-forwarded for a little bit.
Yep, just skipped a little scene.
Yep.
It cuts to Sarah Connor on the phone with her mom. And she says, like, why would you have me come to the cabin if you're not even going to tell me what's going on or where you are? So she's like, okay, I'll tell you where I am. I'll tell you the phone number.
Classic
Yeah.
mistake.
I'll tell you the phone number of where I am. And you're like, okay, so she's telling her mom where she is. And then it cuts to where the cabin is, and the door's off its hinges, giant hole in it. Furniture's all destroyed, and it shows Arnold at the table with the phone. And Terminators, it's been shown previously, they have the ability to mimic any voice. So Sarah's directly telling the Terminator where she, or the phone number where she is.
Mm-hmm.
He hangs up, calls the place, gets the address.
Yeah. But when she's like, you just know.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, one of those, like, eye roll moments.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sad her mom dies. So at this point, like, her best friend and roommate has died. Like, all the police that had protected her are dead. Her mom's dead.
Rough.
Yeah.
Somehow Kyle Reese knows the Terminator's coming.
Yeah, we fast-forwarded, so...
Yeah.
No. They escaped
Yeah.
as he comes.
You like see the Terminator walking up to the door, and he's
They
like
gone.
got his Terminator vision, which is all red, and he kicks the door open, they're gone, and they're pulling away. But he sees them. He's on a motorcycle. Classic.
Classic.
Classic Terminator. Leather jackets, shades, and a motorcycle. Sarah's driving. Boom! Terminator gets hit by an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
And, like, just goes under, like, all of the bits. Like, just terrible. The 18-wheeler driver's stop is now in an 18-wheeler. And just barreling down for their car.
She runs away. Kyle Reese throws, like, the last bomb they made.
Into the tailpipe.
Yeah, into the tailpipe as Arnold is, like, chasing her in this, like, gas semi, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a semi carrying a bunch of gas.
You've seen him.
Yeah. So then there's this huge explosion.
Mm-hmm. She's behind a wall.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
a semi full of gas had a bomb. Like,
Explode, yeah.
it was a big explosion.
Yeah. A lot of fire everywhere. You see, like, the figure of Arnold, like, step out of the cab. He's all on fire. He
Yeah.
falls down.
And it slowly just, like, his body, like, the human part of him, like, disintegrates.
Yeah.
And I was like, great movie.
Yeah.
Like, loved
All
it.
right, yeah. We did it.
Cool.
They
And
did
then...
it. Good job. She goes back to Kyle Reese.
Yeah, but they're, like, walking by him, and I was like, oh, I would not get that close to a thing. And then, of course, the Terminator, like, emerges, and now he's just complete, like, robot.
Yeah, so the way the time travel works is nothing inorganic can go through. That's why they come back in the past naked, and you just see a pretty terrifying metal robot or metal skeleton.
I don't think it's that terrifying.
It's pretty spooks.
Okay.
As a kid.
Oh, yeah, as a kid. As a 25-year-old, I was fine. They, like, run into this factory.
Kyle Reese turns everything on. It's unclear what kind of factory it is, but it's just a conveyor belt.
It's a good place to have, like, a final scene. Although, at this point, I just was like, okay, let's pick this up. Like, let's... Yeah, you know, I thought this was done, like, 5 minutes ago. Whatever. She gets away.
And again, Kyle Reese is super injured.
Yeah. Also, I've said before it was the last bomb. It was not the last bomb.
We thought it was. We were like trying to, after he threw a few, we were like, how many bombs was that? Was that 4 or 5?
Yeah.
They made 6, so it had to have been 4. And they threw the 5th into the semi.
Yeah. So then she gets away, and yeah, Kyle's super injured.
Go, leave me. Like, I'll stop it. And she's like, no, and then I think she does. And...
Yeah. And then he does the actual last bomb and, like, sticks it up.
Yeah, he's like...
in the robot.
And then rolls down the stairs.
And then I thought, okay, bummer he died, but, like,
yeah,
it's the end. And then it wasn't the end.
Yeah, it just picks itself up, just like the top half, and just starts crawling after her. I like the Terminator as, like, a villain. Because it never speaks to you. It's never like, I'm here to kill. It's just going at you. Yeah. And, like, you have to get in a car, and because it's faster than you, it's stronger than you, it's more bulletproof than you are. You just got to get out. And, like, through this whole last bit, his leg gets injured. He gets hit by a semi. He gets burned really bad. He gets exploded twice, but nothing is stopping him, and he's just he's just arms, a bit of a chest and a head just coming at you still. Like, it's great. Like, it's a scary thing.
Yeah, I will say, like, I completely agree, but at this point, just die. Like,
yeah.
In my notes in all caps, I have just end. Like,
and it's close.
Yeah, but, you know, you think it's been the solution twice, so...
Yes.
So just finish it.
Yeah, she's been, like, mildly exploded, so she's a little out of sorts, but she's crawling.
It's been a rough day for Sarah Connor.
And then Terminator's right behind her, crawling.
And then she, like, crawls through this compactor thing, and then, like, another frustration of mine...
She closes just, like, this gate behind her.
Yeah, and then instead of moving away from it, it just shows... the hand of the Terminator just, like...
inching closer and closer.
Just move. Again.
Yeah.
Just do something. You've come this far. Move another foot.
Yeah.
Like...
But she sees the control panel. Well, she sees... not the buttons, but, like, where they would be. So she's, like, feeling around and, like, trying to...
And without seeing, she knows exactly to not hit 2 or 3 of the buttons.
Well, you know the top one is going to be the one that turns it on.
You don't know that.
I do.
Okay.
So the top one's the one you want. So she's, like, feeling, she's like, oh, there it is there. And, like, at this point, the Terminator's hand's getting real close to her throat.
Because, again, she can't move another foot.
Yeah. And then she finds it, and she says, like, die or whatever. And then pushes it, smushes it down, and the Terminator is finally terminated. Good job.
Yeah. So, yes. And then, so I've been really ragging on it for the last little bit. But I will say I like the final scene of Sarah Connor. She's, like, driving in Mexico.
She's doing these little audio tapes for John, who you see
she is with. So the father of John is the...
Kyle Reese.
From the future.
Yeah.
So
the man who's, like, one of John's lieutenants, who is one of his most trusted men, John gave him a picture of Sarah Connor, knowing that that's what he was supposed to do. Because that's what he told Sarah had happened. Knowing that this was his father, he, like, trained him and went to war with him and did all these things with him and sent him back.
So he did know that Kyle Reese was his father?
Yeah. In the audio tape, she's like, should I tell you about your father? I guess I should. I owe him that. Like, he saved my life.
That's true.
He's Kyle Reese and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So it's just, it's very trippy.
It's cyclical.
But cool that John Connor trains Kyle Reese, who trains Sarah Connor, who trains John Connor.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who trained... No, I'm just kidding.
So, like, that's kind of cool. And then Yeah, I like the end. It was a good segue to open up
Mm-hmm.
the sequel.
Which is... So I'll talk about the sequel now. The sequel, I think, is one of the best action movies of all time. It is phenomenal. It is crazy. And everything good about this, the first Terminator, the one we just talked about, is good in retrospect to the second one. Like, if it was just Terminator and, like, they never made the second one, I don't think anybody would really be talking about it ever. But the second one, which I will show you, probably not in 2 weeks or whatever, maybe I will. The second one is so good, and I encourage everybody to go watch it. Watching these two back to back, I think, is the best way, if you've never seen them, to ingest the Terminator. Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Dark Fate, don't bother, they're no good. This picture that John Connor gives Kyle Reese, that Kyle Reese studies and is the only thing he likes in the world and helps him know who Sarah Connor is.
She's in Mexico, she's getting gas, and this little boy comes up and is like, takes a picture of her with his Polaroid camera. He's like, if I don't sell this to you for $5, my dad's gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Obviously says it in Spanish.
And she's like, $4.
No, she says 5.
No, she gives him 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just fine.
Yeah, that is the picture. Yeah. And the thing that she was thinking about that made her sad, that Kyle Reese
wondered about in the future for, like, every night when he stayed up looking at the picture. She was thinking about him. What a fantastic romance.
Yeah, the romance is good. Obviously, I don't love that he died. Like,
yeah.
That kind of... Their romance was literally 24 hours.
Yeah. Final thoughts?
Yeah, again, like, same with The Notebook. For Sean, like, I'm glad I saw it because it's such, like, a referenced movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I really need to see it again. Like,
I saw
it, I'm good.
That's the first time I've seen the first one in so long. You need the first one to really appreciate the second one, I think. And we'll get that when I show it to you and we talk about it on this.
Nice.
Out of 10? Anything? 100.
6?
Yeah.
5? I don't know.
That's fair. I would say that's fair.
Yeah.
So it's, especially since it's really not your type of movie, I'd say.
Yeah, like
I didn't think, I knew when I when I showed it to you, it wasn't going to be your new favorite movie.
Yeah,
or anywhere close to it.
I like action movies. I just don't like...
Austrians.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like, I don't know, just not my type of movie. Being a action movie about robots from the 80s, it was pretty good.
Okay.
That's just not my genre.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So next week, it's back to your turn.
Mm-hmm. I think I have an idea.
Ooh, I'm excited.
But
You
we'll see.
gonna give us a tease?
No.
Of course. Okay. All right. Well, we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.